Rory Best, Ireland's captain, won the toss. And he decided to give England the honour of kicking off. Ireland coming to London as defending champions. Hopes of an historic hat-trick rather diminished by opening weekend draw with Wales and then the defeat in Paris. But they know what an opportunity this is to reignite their championship. George Ford gets us going, and Watson immediately was onto it, up in the air with Devon Toner, but the ball was lost forward. Opportunity to say afternoon for the first time to Gordon Darcy, who patrolled Ireland's centre for more years than he cares to remember, and Lawrence Dallaglio ditto in England's back row.
Yeah, good afternoon, Nick. Good afternoon, everyone. What an exciting game we've got in prospect here. Got our first scrum of the game. 30 seconds in, neat little dink from George Ford. Anthony Watson got up high, just couldn't hold on to the ball. Both coaches, Gordon talked about a fast start. Ireland been quick out the blocks in the first couple of games. Probably haven't been able to hold on to it by the end, and England know at home they've got to get out the blocks fast too.
I think there's going to be a statement of intent, I think, if this ball actually comes out of the scrums. Just look at how Robbie Henshaw and McCluskey have already swapped in the centre. So I think this is going to be, we've seen from England their intent to go. Watson getting up on the ball, they want to get their players on the ball. What are Ireland going to do off this scrum? I think that's going to lay it out for the day.
Well, there's so much to look forward to, isn't there? This is the building block. This is where the bricks are laid, where the cement is put in, but out wide as well for Ireland. McCluskey and Henshaw. McCluskey on his debut, such a big man. So much excitement around him. England bedding in Farrell and Joseph outside Ford. So much to look forward to. Ireland's scrum half is Conor Murray, the Munsterman. And then Leinster's Johnny Sexton at 10 again today. So much said and written about Sexton in the build-up to this. He's now doing all he wants to do, which is play rugby. Interchange with CJ Stander, who's been one of Ireland's standout players in the opening couple of weekends. McCluskey, early touch of the ball for the Ulsterman on his debut.
Ball out.
Murray, first test for Mike Brown on the 10-metre line. 33rd start at fullback for Brown today means he pulls alongside Matt Perry as England's joint record holder now in that shirt. Rob Shaw, once the captain, now back in the ranks, very much a foot soldier, but just thrilled to be involved. That's 6 again today. There. Ford will put it high. Joseph chasing, ball went backwards, but Heaslett was well placed. We'll talk about how much Ireland have kicked the ball in the build-up to this. Let's not lose sight that the team who've kicked it more than anyone in this championship so far are playing in white today. Yeah,
Eddie Jones making a comment in the press conference saying that Ireland kicked the ball away 70% of the time, but I think someone politely reminded him that so far England have done a fair bit themselves, but some good tackling from both sides. Line speed looking really strong and aggressive.
Now it's Sexton's turn to send it high, and another test for Brown, who scampers onto it into the arms of Andrew Trimble. Brown managed to scrap his way through that, but as he tried to scrap it through Gordon, he lost it.
Yeah, what I like from both teams there is they're both having a look, and then when it's not on, they're kicking on their own terms, and that's going to be, I suppose, a kind of a template for the day. The opposition is going to try and make them to kick when they're not ready to kick, and that'll be, at the moment, they're both kicking when they want to. And
you know, both coaches are acutely aware that the fullbacks are excellent under the high ball, so they've got to kick accurately, they've got to kick to compete, and on that occasion Mike Brown just got the ball stripped away by Trimble as he was trying to place it.
Yeah, this early in the game, there's no grass to find at the moment. You can see England playing a little bit of the two full-backs there at the moment. The only space is to put it up in the air and contest it at the moment.
Just a little bit of early concern here for Ireland's captain Rory Best. Taken a bang perhaps to the head in one of those early exchanges, saying before this match that days like this is why you play, and winning on days like this, Gordon, at places like this, as you have, the absolute best.
Absolutely, I have very fond memories of this particular ground.
You got a big smile on your face.
I had the pleasure when England obviously were enjoying their 0-3 win. We had a good day that year.
Not so much of a smile on Lawrence's face right now.
Yeah, I was sort of looking around saying, where have all my teammates gone? They've all retired. What's happened? But there'll be two teams looking to make their own history today.
Catch! Bind! Set!
Contest on this near side between Joe Marler and Mike Ross. Ross brought back in. He's not played much recently. One or two issues with his fitness. But England conceding the penalty on the other side. Dan Cole.
Changing his arm. Changing your arm and putting down.
Yeah. Changing the bind and dragging it down, Lawrence. First penalty against England's Dan Cole.
Yeah, that'll be disappointing for England, disappointing for Cole. Roman White alleged that he changes his bind and lost his footing and the scrum collapses. Let's have a look at this angle here. The referee's just got his positioned himself nicely so we can't see it, but there we go. Just see, he's just got himself turned in, nothing too wrong with that, and he loses his binding. I mean, these are such tight calls, but certainly this is an area that Ireland would have targeted as much as England.
5 minutes into the game, potentially a little bit of the referee stabbing his mark on the proceedings.
Swatted away Eddie Jones' concerns about his health this week, and he slotted away the first penalty. From distance, it's a breezy day. That was some kick. Great start for Ireland, 3-0.
Yeah, I think that's what you want. There wasn't much play in that build-up. Probably a cheap penalty from England, but listen, if they're on option, if they're there, you got to take them.
Let's see what Ford does with this restart. Is it high? Comes down on the 22.
Inside.
The likes of Jack Knoll to run onto. McCluskey, he needed all of his 6'3" and 17 stones to hang on to that pass, which was not marked sympathetic. And then cleared away by Murray to Brown once more. Nothing sympathetic about that pass either. Flies over the head of Vunipola, and it needs Knoll to straighten and tidy things up for England. Farrell, Ford. This is Anthony Watson. Turned 22 yesterday. There is a youthful feel to this England side. George Cruz, one of those starting to make his name as a test player. Farrell's been around for a while. Vunipola, Joseph. Fleet of foot. Farrell to Brown again. England for the first time, just getting their feet under the desk, settling down a little bit. There's Mero Itoje, Saracen. First start for him today. Haskell offered himself, but it wasn't Haskell that was used in the end. Instead, it was Watson down by his knees and then very much on his toes. First time that England have challenged in this 22. It's good, patient possession. Likewise, patient defence as well, and Robshaw has to go back and reclaim possession on the 10-metre line.
Yeah, England just a little bit untidy. Youngs just decides to put the ball in behind. Really neat little kick. Will it stay in? Fortunately for him, it doesn't. And England just settle for the territory, but some nice phases. Really like the way Billy Vunipola, they such a threat with ball in hand, but actually just offloading a couple of times, shifting the focus of the attack.
Right.
Just a little bit of concern for England now about Anthony Watson, who might have just tweaked his hamstring, Gordon, as he charged through on one of those runs towards the line. He's needing some early attention.
3 white
That's
in
a
the
player
ball.
England are definitely not going to want to lose. He's
well,
really exciting to watch, and you can just see that from the outside. I'm not seeing the replay. His outside break is
there
fantastic.
it comes.
Yeah, just looking at.
Now, is this a net roll
from
Farrell on Keith Earls? One of the areas that the game is showing absolutely no tolerance to at the moment.
But I have seen a neck roll. Just a penalty kick against White.
There it comes.
Yeah, he just pulls him down there.
12 White.
Yeah, it's one of those
12
things in
White.
slow motion
12.
probably looks a little bit worse.
It's about 7 meters on the other touchline.
Okay. Just in front. 12.
South African Sean
Just
Veltsman.
reckless. It's clear and obvious. All right, penalty against White.
So we will come back and head over to the other side of the pitch. Gordon, what do you see? Anthony Watson's back on his feet.
He doesn't look overly convinced. I think himself. I think he'll give it one
roll.
run and see how it goes.
Thanks, Sean.
England have got Elliot Daly on the bench. It would be his debut, but he's better used to playing in midfield for Wasps. Alex good as well, the Saracen.
Well, he looked very dangerous, didn't he, Anthony Watson? He didn't have much of an alleyway to make a break, but just stopped and went again with such speed and got in behind the Irish defence. England will want to keep him on the field for as long as they possibly can.
Yeah, that's one of the hardest positions when you're caught flat-footed, particularly with someone like Anthony Watson. He wants you to break stride, and when he accelerates, it's very, very hard to catch them back.
No, White. Please, 6.
Jack McGrath just confirming the call with Rory Best. Where they intend the ball to go into the arms of Donica Ryan.
I told you, he did brilliantly there. Just managed to not play his man in the air, wait for him to come down and then roll him over, but Ireland have possession.
Kluski. This is Henshaw. He's rattled by Joseph. And England working hard at that breakdown to disrupt Irish ball. Well picked up by Brown on the half volley, and again scampers away and gets beyond the first tackler.
That was a very important half tackle by Josh van der Fleer.
Van der Fleer amongst those making his debut here at Twickenham today. Mike McCloskey, he's a player who has been polishing his CV domestically so far this season. Van der Fleer, the Leinster flanker. He's in the red cap. Billy Monopoli. A couple of Irish defenders on halfway. And was Donica Ryan, who's back on his feet, but England very much now with the ball in hand, and Noel pulled back for Farrell. This is Rob Shaw. Early Ireland penalty, a little bit of English possession since then, and they've got the penalty themselves.
Yeah, CJ Stander just not rolling away. England referee just playing the advantage for England. Clubmate Joseph, but back we come for the penalty against CJ Stander. Just a couple of things, Gordon, you know, Ireland looking to move the ball wide, but England, their line speed's been really good. They've marked their men up and they've actually caught Ireland a couple of times behind the gain line. And Ireland got away with it, but certainly, you know, really good intent from Ireland, and then England matching them in that defensive effort.
I think that's the point. Ireland have gotten away with it, and that's not really what you... I think we were maybe going through with moves for the sake of going through with them, that we didn't get the ball off the top of the line out. We kind of went through with it, and England just kept coming up, and Robbie Henshaw was running into a 3v2 with defence up, and you know, that's not the positions you want to be in coming off a slow ball.
So he turns in. So
He changed his bind, and clearly he was bind.
Okay.
Time for England equals points on the board, 3 apiece.
Interesting for both teams at the moment. They're showing plenty of endeavour, but unfortunately the final pass, or that crucial pass, is checking the man who's trying to break away. We saw Ireland running from their own 22, and that pass to McCluskey just stopped that move dead, and England playing at that advantage. Just the last pass to Noel there, just on his inside shoulder.
It's delicately restarted by Sexton. Give Ireland every opportunity to run onto that, but it is English ball. Ford hoists it high, Farrell chases it. Watson's trying to get underneath this as well, and he did well. Beat Sexton to the ball. But then, having won the ball, teammates flew over the top and off their feet.
It's really disappointing from England's point of view, because that was a wonderful kick from Ford, just hanging up there in the wind, had a lot of distance on it, as well as accuracy, and Watson just timed his run beautifully, didn't he? Really just waited for it, and then launched himself in the air. And unfortunately, England just weren't able to hold their feet. It's given Ireland a really nice position. Johnny Sexton just lining this up for the corner, trying to put it in as far as he can. It's a great kick.
I think that's called pushing the boundaries as close as you can there.
First real defensive effort now for England. This will be a test for them. Real opportunity for Ireland.
If this ball comes out, which I doubt it will, I'm pretty sure you're going to see McCluskey going down that 10-12 channel.
Well, it was meant for stand-up, but it never got there.
It looks like it's coming out on Ireland's side, though.
He managed to rip it back. Ball that Ireland initially looked like they'd lost, but they've fought so hard to win it back and to use this position with McCluskey again. You see Jared Payne from Ireland's midfield today. Some Irish defence now. Brown herring after this, and Noel herring after it as well. And so is Ben Youngs. It's hard work for Rob Kearney, but look how much ground England have made up. Ireland have done so well to win back that ball without conceding a penalty.
Wow, Rob Kearney, tell you what, he did brilliantly, not only to get back.
Outside right. Thanks, Nigel.
And he held on to that ball for dear life.
We have the number.
I just felt for a second that England might have got the penalty.
12 right, 12 offside. 12.
As you say, Rob Kearney was holding on to it, but the official felt it was enough. Look at that, 4 penalties conceded already.
Free from them a couple of occasions, having got themselves in decent positions, initially with Anthony Watson's catch and gather, and then this with that latest one, they've given the ball back.
Thanks, Nigel. After the contest
Yeah, it's a needless penalty as well, that, isn't it? Just don't need to do it. Would have had a line out, or even the ball would have stayed in play.
Ireland patiently walking towards this line. Rory Best, the captain. Flipped off the top. McCluskey linking up with Sexton, who draws the line, but there was some holding back. England defender who was keen to involve himself, not being allowed to by a stray arm, and the face of the former detective tells its own story.
13 obstructing,
quite keen to
white.
see that. It looked, obviously through my green tinted eyes, it looked pretty okay.
Well, he's forensic, isn't he, in his analysis at the moment, and not missing anything. Roman Poit. Johnny Sexton was so familiar that run-around routine. He's very, very good at it. Often the show and go with the ball, Gordon, and on this occasion, just got blocked.
Yeah, I think Robbie just sticks out a hand, and just saying hello to Owen Farrell. I think you need to run through and bump him. He knows it as well.
Robbie Henshaw used to playing at 12 at least for Ireland, Gordon, but in the absence of Payne, he's stepping out a couple of metres. Is that a significant couple of metres defensively?
I think he's learned both positions, and I think he's learned them well. He obviously picked Brian's brain while he had him, and he was picking my brain, and he's talked about the merits of Jared and how good he's been with them. So he's an incredibly hungry to learn about rugby.
Nearly pointless. And it remains locked at 3 apiece, 17 minutes gone.
Just almost taking a little bit of paintwork off the edge of that post, but it was the wrong edge, unfortunately, for England. And
Sexton's high restart. So Vonipola on halfway. It's being chased by Earls. Youngs taken on by Atoje, 21-year-old, 2 weeks after his debut in Rome. Here he is on from the off. Dan Cole to Farrell. This is Joseph. Brown again offering himself. Klusky helps get Ireland going again. This is Conor Murray. Laser-guided kicks will play their part today. Fair few have come down on the head of Mike Brown already. He's dealt well with them. Haskell, he didn't hold on to it long, invites Vunipola to truck it up, which he will do with pleasure.
Yeah, and he's able to break the tackle, isn't it? That's what makes him so dangerous.
Rob Shaw, taken by Brown. Haskell once more, this time he does the hard work himself. Ford with Itoje offering himself. He's a rangy, athletic runner when he gets going.
Tell you what, he's made two very strong carries, got that leg drive.
Farrell, he looked to get the ball away to Knoll, but England that close again. It's Itoje who has been prominent in this latest England thrust towards the line. Here goes Haskell. Ball's been lost forward. Oh, where's Sexton going? Headed down one avenue that he didn't like the look of and turned back on himself to find Earls. Ireland did have the advantage, but not anymore. So on we go with Watson. Brown. Hartley, England's captain, Northampton man, leading his side at Twickenham for the first time. His first carry as well. This is Rob Shaw, man who gave up the job of captaincy after the World Cup. A number of England penalties in handy positions are beginning to mount.
Well, it's just the difference between, we've seen Itoje when he's carried 2 or 3 times. You've got to keep the legs driving, you've got to get the defence going backwards before you go down to the floor. Chris Robshaw, unfortunately, there comes back on the inside, but he just goes to ground a little bit too early, and Jamie Heaslip got himself in the position really, really strong. You can't run away from your support, you've got to keep that leg drive going.
I think maybe the reading of his body language by the players around him, seeing that he's not looking for an offload. Chris is not a massively offloading on player. He's a grafter and he carries the ball really well. They should have been in on him quickly.
In fairness, it's a pretty good hit from Henshaw. He actually spins Robshaw and knocks him down to floor. And again, what started with a promising phase play of attack, Ireland now back in England's half.
Through the first half, a penalty apiece for first Sexton and then Farrell. Line out taken by Stander. Josh van der Fleer. Ball's gone forward and it's picked up by Knoll. A little bit of pressure, but delicately away, but that was forward, and we will come back for the initial Irish knock-on. Second oldest international fixture in the world, this, by the way. After England against Scotland, 140 years now since they first met up the road at the Kennington Oval, 1875. England have won 5 of the last 6. Much more to the point, including the World Cup warm-up here in September, but Ireland doing the job in Dublin 12 months ago. That's where we stand in present-day history.
It's been most of the scrummages, but Ireland ball, this opportunity now for England. It's got to be tidy in this area. Already given away 1 penalty that Johnny Sexton kicked over, so chance for them to put things right. Joe Marler, of course, replacing Mako Vunipola on this loose head side. So I know it's an area that England feel they want to get right, they want to target. Billy Vunipola just keeping the ball in. Draws the penalty. There's been a lot of debate, Nick, about Joe Marler getting a lot of taps on the back when he does get his angles right. He really can add to this England scrum.
So a decision from Eddie Jones, Steve Borthwick as well, forwards coach, to go with Marler this weekend ahead of Mako Vunipola. Just the feeling that he's a better scrummager and he might put a little bit more pressure on Mike Ross, who's Ireland's anchor, or at least trying to be at the moment.
Yeah, we just see him there. Mike Ross, unfortunately, is under that little bit of pressure, just has to turn in. But Joe Marler's kept his angle nice enough, hasn't gone out, hasn't moved the hips outside. So often loose heads can get penalised, but England on the attack.
Ball won initially by Robshaw. looking to get some momentum. Haskell adding his weight. Watson's waiting. Ball's not coming out just yet, however. Here goes Vunipola. Oh, they're playing the advantage, and Big Billy can carry on. And Billy very nearly making it all the way to the try line. It took 2-3 Ireland defenders to stop him. What an absolute charge that was.
I think that's going to be a question of sport moment in a few years' time.
I think the referee, Roman Pot, nearly blew his whistle and then realised England still had the ball. Look, and he just decides to play the advantage. Billy doesn't quite know what's going on, does he? Has the whistle gone? Has it not gone? But in the end, some very good, strong Irish defence.
I think we're kind of lucky that was CJ Stander helping out Conor Murray there. That he was still going for the corner.
That's poor old Andrew Trimble. We'll have the bruise to show for that charge. Now England.
It's interesting decision
for the line-out.
Yeah, I think they just feel that there's been a bit of a stop-start element to this game. Every time England have been down in this part of the field, they've either given a penalty away, they've turned the ball over. So they really want to just try and spend some game time down here. I think it's a good decision, good, positive, brave decision from England. Scores locked at 3-all.
And going forward, for me, it's
their first real attacking opportunity.
Number 5, hit the ball at the maul.
Going to come away with his own aches and pains and bruises, Vunipola.
Okay, White.
Outstanding on that opening weekend at Murrayfield.
He's been England's best player, I think, throughout the first opening 2 games, to be honest.
Time back on.
Now, what can England do from this line out? How are they set up?
It's interesting to see Italy getting amongst it. Getting amongst this England line out in Rome. Ireland deciding the best approach early on is to wait for them to come back to ground and then put the shove on.
Initially through George Cruz, so often the target, has so many line-out takes already in the tournament. Ireland done really well to spin it and pull it down to ground legally.
Haskell had it, then Youngs, and Farrell was enveloped immediately by Henshaw.
White players on the ball, white players on the ball.
Here's Joseph. Vunipola once more, again he's going through. 7th carry for him, all of them have been big ones. This time it's Cruz. England screaming for the ball to go wide, instead they go down the middle. No question that the ball is over the line, and I think that they might have grounded it. It's going to need some help from our TMO Sean Veldsman, but England's latest big muscular drive might have earned them the first try.
I think you're right, Nick. Absolutely, that's certainly over the line. It's whether one of those England players has just managed to get his hand on the ball. I think they have, but what a carry from Billy Vunipola to get things off.
Go away, White. No, don't push. Go away.
Captain Dylan Hartley, who goes through. He's short with his initial effort, but then just driven over by a pile of bodies. What do you reckon, Gordon?
Well, I think the ball is down before Stewart's got his knee in there. I think the players that come in kind of drive over the line.
To me. Yeah, we'll get the other angle once it'll show us there. It's clearly
is it a try, yes or no?
Okay.
And check about the double movement.
Okay, I will. Okay, thank you.
The double movement, once you're tackled, you can reach out immediately and put the ball down, but has he been tackled, stopped, and then restarted again?
Not necessarily sure he's doing the double movement. I think he's actually up and carried over the line and then gets it down.
Yeah, certainly from the last angle, it looked like to be a hand underneath it at the moment.
Well, what a great line, though. In between the two players. And Conor Murray's got his hand underneath there.
Very short there, but again, it's the weight of the players that come through. It's a tough one.
Ball clearly short as a result of McCloskey's knee on the first occasion. It's down now. It's a matter of timing, though, isn't it? Was he tackled, and therefore has he hung on to the ball too long? Here we go.
Sure.
I'm telling you what I saw.
Okay.
Number 2 white is clearly stopped it before the goal line. Any moving, and then after he moved backward to reach the goal line. Are you happy with that?
I agree with you. He was short, and then he propelled himself forward using his right knee to reach the goal line.
Okay, that's clearly a double movement. It's a penalty kick against 2 white.
Against 2 white, I agree.
No try. Furthermore, an Irish penalty.
No try.
Yeah, I'm going to be slightly controversial. I don't think he meant to be. It wasn't a double movement. I'm not quite sure whether it's a try or no try. I don't think he deliberately tried to get up and make another movement. I think he was just hit by other players coming through. That's a tough call as well.
Double movement.
Absolutely.
Backward.
I don't think it was a double movement. I don't think it was a try. But again, it's English pressure, and Ireland just hanging on.
Yes, Ireland might be a little bit concerned by the amount of time England are having ball in hand. There's an increasing fluency about what they're doing and using their big runners as well, Gordon. And they'll have another opportunity here with Watson. Runs into Heaslip. Youngs, here he goes again. Billy Vunipola. These aren't easily earned meters either. These are tough meters approaching the 22-meter line. Jack McGrath heads back into the defences. Van der Fleer's got his hands over the top, and Ireland have done well to hold that up. They'll have the scrum.
Well, I think it's the first time Ireland have done very well indeed. The first time they've been able to contain Billy Vunipola. He gets up looking bemused, very disappointed, but he's just got so much power, so much ability to break the tackle.
I know that the breakdown is an area that Ireland have really worked on this week in training. They saw, particularly at the turnovers in Rome a fortnight ago, Gordon, England profited. They scored tries off turnovers, and it's no real surprise to know that that particular area has seen a little bit of work on the training ground this week.
Absolutely, and there's quality all the way through the Irish team, from Josh, our whole back row, and Rory he's a pest at the breakdown at the best of times. And we're really seeing that coming to the fore now.
Set.
New cap Josh van der Fleer in the red cap, hanging off to the left of that Ireland scrum. Oh, McCloskey's lost it. Picked up by Watson. Slightly overran it. Haskelwaits goes beyond him to Cruz. Familiar pattern here as Hartley charges in to try and clear things up. Now a little bit of green space for white shirts to run into. Farrell gets the ball to the ground. Rory Best tries to nick it back. This is Noel. With some help from Itoje. Ireland once again trying to hold the ball up. England desperate to get it onto the turf to go again. Youngs. Hartley to Ford is being tackled by Sexton, and McCloskey doesn't get his kick away. He does a George North, and England can go again.
He just knocked it on, unfortunately, Billy Vunipola, I think there. Again, it's mistakes from England that just let Ireland off the hook at the crucial moment.
Flag.
Now what's going on here with touch judge on the far side? It's Nigel Owens who's holding a flag today. He's got something to say. Let's have a listen.
Calling you, but you couldn't hear us. The first was knocked. There was a first knock on by Green and then by White. So go back to the first knock on by Green there.
Thanks, Nigel.
Well, that's a significant intervention. Instead of being an Ireland scrum, it'll be an England one.
I have a very low sound. I didn't hear my assistant referee calling first knock on Green on the first attack by White. We set a scrum here, okay?
Our ball. Hit down.
Just a knock on. No, white ball. Here.
Let's just see if we can clear this up, Lawrence. This was the hit initially from Sexton.
Yeah, it's just a knock-on. He's tried to make the tackle, so it's not a deliberate knock-on, Gordon, but what we thought was a mistake by England was actually a knock-on by Ireland. So England will be relieved somewhat to have the scrum under the post, and that's a good spot from Nigel Owens, you've got to say. And good work working with the referee there.
Very important intervention. I'm kind of happy that it was an intentional knockdown, because if that had gone to hand, England had 4 or 5 over there with, I think, just Stewart defending them.
Gordon defensively now for Ireland, split scrum either side. They've got 3 on both sides. England could go either way. They've got 4 on this left-hand side.
This is a nightmare to defend because you've got that big dead ball line in there as well. Rob Kearney's almost opened the line. There's so many options for England here.
England have got Brown and Knoll to the right, but they go to the left with Ford, who's wrapped up by Murray.
Tackle!
And Joseph shipping over to the right-hand side. There's a whole posse of white shirts waiting for this. Captain's one of them. Haskell and Atoje clear it out, cold. Young's nearly through. Ben Youngs, and then Haskell stretching. Oh, he can't quite get it down. There's an Irish arm there. I think it belonged to Rory Best that stopped him. Best has stopped a certain try, but England are still pressing. Youngs, Ford, not the easiest of passes. He had to check his stride. And England now 10, 11 metres short of the objective. If they need to make metres, give it to Vunipola. 10th carry now for the Saracens, number 8, and England will have another scrum and they can reset the same situation.
I've got to say, I mean, Gordon was talking about the Irish work of the breakdown. It's not only getting over the ball, but they've really done well these last few rucks to slow the pace of that England possession down. Look at this from Rory Best. James Haskell gets the leg drive going, reaches out with the arm, and it's a combination of Best, isn't it?
Green.
But it's just the ability to slow that down.
Time off.
Something you would know about Lawrence is leaving the hand in there for that little bit longer, just to keep the ball in there and slow it down a little bit.
I'm only there in admiration of Ireland's back row at the moment in doing that.
As Richard Hill said earlier today, he tended to slip a lot and always found himself on the wrong side of the ball.
Yeah, but very, very low.
It's barely been a passage of play over the first 29.5 minutes where we've not talked at some stage about this bloke.
He's been absolutely outstanding, and he's really got the bit between the teeth. Look at this, 9 carries, 58 metres already. We're only half an hour into the game, beaten 6 defenders. I mean, that is seriously impressive stats, and Ireland can't find the answer to handle him at the moment.
England are going to have options in that area come the summer. They've got Nathan Hughes, the Wasps, number 8, who qualifies once England get back from the tour to Australia. And they are going to have some very handy options with Vunipola playing the way he is and Hughes playing the way he is in the Aviva Premiership.
Yeah, definitely wonderful options to have, and I'm sure with the Atoje and Robshaw and Haskell and all these. But last time England went left with Ford.
Defensively, another big conundrum here for Ireland, Gordon.
Well, it's very rare you get the exact same scrum in the exact same position.
Once again, it's Brown and Knoll to the right, but they're ignored. But the bouncing ball to Watson, ball went forward. England have had a lot of ball time. They've not had the polish that's earned them a try yet, though.
No, they'll be disappointed. That's 2 scrums, Gordon, as you say. Firstly, Ford cut back inside and got gobbled up by the inside defence, and that's just poor execution, isn't it? Yeah,
but also when you pass relative to the defence is very important, particularly in that position in the pitch. The defence are going to try and close as quickly as possible. If Ford carries the ball that close to the line and throws a missed pass, it's a very, very low percentage play. You're asking John Joseph there to pull a wonder pass out in a windy condition when a premium on skills isn't actually going well for players.
Crutch! Bind! Set! 2, 3, 4! Ready!
It's Mike Ross on this near side, fit to play his part again after a hamstring problem. Hamstring being tested at times like this by Joe Marler. Greg Feek, Ireland's scrum coach yesterday, admitted that Mike Ross was a bit short of a gallop, but he would keep the scrum square, which is what he's being paid to do right now.
Mike Ross and Gallup rarely feature in the same sentence. But yeah, he's a little bit short on game time. But listen, as long as he holds his own in here, we'll be very happy with that.
Well, Greg Feek and Mike Ross at Ireland have done some outstanding work. They've got a really good record, particularly on their own ball at the moment. And there we go again.
Putting down number 1.
One of the things that Greg Feek has done, and you will know about this as well, Gordon, is since arriving as part of Ireland's coaching team, is just to get them scrummaging a little bit lower, which is a tough trick to pull off, but can be mighty effective, and we saw it there.
Yeah, really effective. I just felt that Joe Marler just got penalised on the near side here, so that was a call from the touch judge just for losing his binding and the scrum collapsing on that side. So that's one to Mike Ross. And again, England come away with no points. They've had all that pressure, spill the ball, turn it over, and Ireland are able to clear.
It's been quite a big passage of play for England. You know, 12, 13 minutes where they've had a lot of ball and haven't really done much with it. 8 minutes, 7 minutes to go in this half. This is a good place to build a bit of pressure for Ireland.
In the arms of Van der Fleer, but not for long.
What?
Helped out by Heasley, his Leinster
Use
teammate.
it twice.
Murray to Sexton. Henshaw popping up at inside centre, where he's more accustomed to be running. Jarrod Payne nursing a hamstring this weekend. It's Haskell working hard on the floor, and Haskell earning the penalty for England.
Yeah, he earned the penalty. But I think with a combination of him and Joe Marler, but it was actually England's aggressive line speed that caught again Ireland behind the gain line, and this time Ireland don't get away with it. Good turnover from England. I'm sure Farrell will have a shot at goal.
Just have a look at these numbers. England's metres made 229 against 19 for Ireland, but that gain line success 36 times they've gone beyond Ireland's first line of defence.
Yeah. When we were talking about Billy, the virtues of Billy Vunipola, I had the misfortune of playing against him a couple of times. He is definitely a guy that if you don't, you've got a split second when the ball's in the air, that the player's looking at it, that if you can close the gap and hit him, then you can get him to ground an awful lot easier. The problem we're having at the moment is he's got the ball, he's getting up to speed, and he's winning the collisions, and he's dictating the contact area, and he's very hard to put down when he gets into that.
Gordon Darcy and Lawrence Dallaglio watching this one at Twickenham on the middle weekend of the RBS Six Nations. And for all their possession, for all their territory, I doubt there are many who argue with England deservedly taking the lead. They've had a lot of ball time. Now they lead on the scoreboard. 5 minutes to half-time, 6-3.
Yeah, when you look at those sort of statistics of gain line success and metres made, what we need to add to that is the little bit of inaccuracy that England have had in crucial areas, the little knock-ons, the little mistakes, and that's why it's only 6-3. I'm sure Eddie Jones will be pleased with huge amounts of a lot of the work that England's doing, but it's just having that accuracy at the right time and making the right decisions.
Potentially guilty of what Ireland have been doing in the last 2 games. They've been showing a lot of promise, but the end result hasn't actually been there on the scoreboard.
Sure that Johnny Sexton isn't deliberately trying to pick out Billy Vunipola, but he's going through a lot of work at the moment. Taken by Rob Kearney. Part of a beautifully worked try here 2 years ago. Not so much of him in an attacking sense so far today, but this time will come. This is Heasley. 32 now. As strong as ever. Sexton. Earls. Flicking it away to Henshaw. He scored the try against England in Dublin last season. You'll remember the crossfield kick and all the subsequent talk about his work as a Gaelic footballer as a lad.
Just at the moment for Ireland, we're getting very narrow. Stuart McCluskey is the widest man we have here, and he's nearly at the far post. This is playing into England's defence that we're talking about. Their line speed, this is playing into England's hands at the moment.
Defence newly drilled by Paul Gustard, yet to concede a try in this championship. Brown once again. Kearney was up to him quickly, as was McCluskey. The old choke tackle trying to hold him off the floor, but the England fullback finds the sanctuary of the turf. Vunipola once more. Ford, Noel, he's got Hartley beyond him, so that will just be a punctuation mark in terms of holding the ball up. And England draw breath on the 10-metre line, and Haskell goes again. Ford, once again, you know who.
He's just got through a ton of work, isn't he? He's just always there, taking England forward.
Joseph got his hands out of the tackle, but held up.
Ireland having to go very, very soft in defence at the moment, and it's hurting them. That's a 60-metre gain for England there, without actually having created a huge amount.
Just explain that phrase, Gordon, soft in defence.
Well, we're talking about the English defence. They're able to fly. Their line speed is they're able to come up so hard off the defensive line, where Ireland are having to stay passive and basically pushing England towards the touchline and use the touchline as another defender.
More like a sponge, just absorbing the pressure at the moment. And England are happy to put that pressure on. Look how far England have taken it. Oh, Joseph took it well. But again, the ball's gone forward. The bulk of those inside Twickenham haven't heard the peep on the whistle of Romain Poit.
Forward pass.
But once again, promising position. And England's plans becoming untied.
Yeah, they just got a little bit flat on the attack there as they were coming round the corner. Look at that, Mike Ford just tips it forward. If they could just hold their... Mike Brown, sorry, if they could just hold their depth, it was definitely on for England there.
Absolutely, I definitely think it's Ireland are happy to leave men free, and they're going to put England under pressure to execute those passes. And so far, it's a tactic that's working for Ireland. Owen Farrell twice earlier in the half was running up the touchline, trying to put Noel away, and Ireland come in to try and put him under pressure, and he hasn't been able to deliver the final pass.
90 Irish tackles.
Yes, it's really interesting listening to Brian Adrisk in the studio before, just thinking about the Ireland's bench. When you're inviting that much pressure, Gordon, they're averaging 180 tackles a game at the moment. Ireland 90 already in this first half. At some point, if you keep inviting sides to attack at you and you're having to get up off the floor and make that many tackles, it becomes very hard.
Well hooked back by Rory Best. He's one of the old school. Doesn't mess around with all that pushing over the ball, he just hooks it back. And Ireland with quick ball, and Sexton can run away with it, and he's been scrapped by Farrell.
That absolutely needed to go. All the hard work was done, caught the ball off his bootlaces. Rob Kearney was crying for that ball.
What a break this is from McCluskey. First time we've really seen him ball in hand, what he's been doing all season. Henshaw with the surge.
What a turnover from Atoji.
Atoji has it. Here goes Brown. The hard work of the break initially from Henshaw, but they can come again. Kicked through by Heaslip, and that will dribble beyond the dead ball line.
Scrum on 22.
Well, just as we see Jamie Heaslip getting up, he knows he's made a big mistake there, but what a turnover from that man, Maro Itoje. He really got his side out of trouble because that was after a line break, and you've got to get your precision absolutely right.
Well, the best moment of Ireland's half coming right at the end of it, and that break for Robbie Henshaw. In the end, it's the penalties from Farrell and England's possession and ball carrying ability that has them ahead at the break. 6-3. No changes to either side at half-time. And once again, it's another Six Nations close one halfway through this match. Johnny Sexton. His solitary penalty was Ireland had to show for their first half work. Much of that work done in defensive mode. England had a lot of time on the ball.
Tackle! Tackle!
Ben Youngs. The ball's going to bounce in no man's land, and Carney gathers. He's been hustled by Farrell.
I know one man is not going to be very happy that that ball bounced. And two, if you include Rob, Joe Schmidt is not going to be happy. That's one of his basic elements. He never let the bounce ball bounce.
It's McCloskey with the charge, and then Earls having to deal with it and deal with it brilliantly. Fast flashing feet. Stander.
It's the first time we've seen CJ on one of those runs in the whole game.
He was a thrashing machine against Wales. Over 40 carries over the opening 2 weekends. Here's Van der Fleer, Dutch grandparents who emigrated to Wicklow in the 50s. And Trimble, debut over a decade ago now. Sexton involving McCloskey, 6'3" and 17 stones. There's plenty of beef, but he's got some finesse as well, and he was first up there to make the tackle on Brown, and he draws the penalty.
That's a nice bit of play. Nothing really on. A little chip through. I think Mike Brown thought that was going to roll out, but a great follow-up. A lot of times you see the chip going through, the players coming up and not actually making that tackle when it comes through. That's a nice little bit of play.
They call him the banger bulldozer, I think, don't they? He's as big as Willie John McBride, for those as old as us who remember old Willie John flying around in the 60s and 70s. He was one of the biggest blokes in the game back then, legendary Lions captain. But McCloskey's as big as he is, and he's playing in your old position, Gordon. And interestingly, not going for the posts. They're going to try and put some pressure on this attacking line-out.
Well, other than one line-out in England's 22 in the first half, they've had very little opportunity to attack, and again they probably just feel, Gordon, that, you know, if they're going to go on and win this game with the amount of tackles they made so far, they've got to take an opportunity like this.
Yeah, 3% in the opposition 22 for possession. It's very hard to build anything from there, and again a turnover in a prime attacking spot.
It was a Toje up beating Ryan to the ball.
Probably a mark of England's confidence as well, going up to compete in a defensive line-out like that.
Well, they did it in the one in the first half, and George Cruz kind of ruling the roost, and obviously
inside,
in unison with the
Toji,
getting up. Ireland will come again though with Rory Best right on the 22.
Quite just making the point that the mark is inside on the line, so England will be able to kick this directly to touch should they burgle it again, but they don't, because this time it's won by Stander, and Murray brings it along, and here goes McGrath. Cian Healy fit again, but only a replacement today. Once again it's Stander starting to get involved in the game a little bit more offensively, held up by Rory Best.
Tackle!
Van der Fleer and Toner trying to wrestle this ball free.
Okay.
England conceding the penalty. It's much closer to the posts. Ireland might choose to try and square things up with a kick at goal if nothing comes of this.
Neck roll.
We'll talk of a neck roll. We'll have another look at this. Sexton, meantime, and Henshaw dropping it over the top for Earls, who didn't have a great deal of space to move into.
Yeah, the ball goes in a touch. I think it's a high tackle, is it, or neck roll? One of the two.
Advantage, Team O'Call.
Roman, I've got potential foul play against White. 7.
7 White, okay.
7 White.
Okay.
It's the voice of Sean Veltzman, and 7 White is James Haskell.
7 White.
Let's have a look at this now.
There it comes, Roman. It was high. Do you see that one?
High and late.
7 White.
Is that high or is that shoulder height?
There's another one. No.
Depends if you're green or white, I suppose.
What if you were on the receiving end of that? Would you consider that legitimate?
It's pretty hard to call that legitimate. I think even just the lateness of it, regardless of
there
the height.
There it comes again, Roman. That's it. Roman, do you have it?
Well, it's late. He hits him with his shoulder, but then it rises up.
Two things, shoulder and height.
Yeah.
It's dangerous tackle, it's a yellow card.
I agree.
Oh, it's a yellow.
7.
Well, I think it's two penalties consecutively, and all that great work he's done at the breakdown, as Johnny was talking about.
2 things against you, height and with the shoulder in front.
It's one of those that never looks great, the old slow-mo, but I don't think there's any arguing about James Haskell's 5th yellow card.
20 meters just in front of...
Yeah. It's late, and he just hits him with his forearm just under the chin, and that doesn't look good. So
yeah,
he's played really well up to now. It's a shame, but again, Ireland deciding to go for the line out. It's a gutsy call.
Lawrence, you've been in this situation before now, down to 7 men in the forward. Can they go up and compete with Ireland here, or do they have to try and defend the maul?
Well, they've done it twice so far. You're absolutely right. They'll probably stay down on this occasion.
He was trying to call that defensive line out into the arms of Tona. England getting the shove on, but then Ireland with the counter shove in the arms of Best.
6 from the side.
It's a penalty advances against Rob Shaw coming in from the side, unfortunately. Did really well initially.
Stander. Murray waits. That's where Murray goes on his own.
Try on the line. Just 6 from the side and offside in that ruck.
What's he given? Has he given the try? I think he has.
Team take opportunity just to check, but that was fine on the line.
And Conor Murray may well have mined his way over the English line.
As it was unfolding, my initial reaction was that he'd taken the wrong option to go up there.
Just bends down, no doubt about that. Just bends down, doesn't he? Gets lower, almost bends down and comes up. Gets underneath Ben Youngs.
I'm not sure why he went out before he should have come straight up, and it's not an issue. And it's great sniper's try, and great to see Conor Murray having more influence on the game. We needed that from him this year.
All came from England, not well. First of all, the sin bin to James Haskell, the decision from Ireland to kick to the corner, and then England looked like they'd really done well at that line-out, but they didn't finish it off, and Ireland were able to come again.
Yeah, Conor Murray with a try against Wales at the Aviva Stadium at the start of these championships. And now 1 against England. Oh, what a kick! What a kick! And with a 1-man advantage, that's advantage used immediately. Ireland with the first try of the match.
Just be careful when you clean out.
Absolutely.
Okay?
It may not be pretty, but when you come to Twickenham, you take anything you can get.
Yeah, again, we just see him just getting lower there. If you commit all your forwards off the ground, you've got to put Ireland into touch. England didn't do that, and that man, Conor Murray, has given Ireland the lead, and that man will have to sit out another 7 minutes.
We start from forward. Earls gathers.
Outside.
He's rarely been caught standing still, Keith Earls, in this match so far. Here goes McCloskey, determined runner. Did well to keep that in play. He was being shuffled into touch, but it's still Ireland ball. With Jamie Heaslip still helping to set and maintain standards in this team. Beyond Van der Fleer to Henshaw, who fires it out to Stander. Here goes Earls. He's got some room beyond Noel, and Earls against Brown in the chase for the ball. The England fullback gets there first, and he has to cough it up, and Ireland will have the throw-in.
That's an intelligent little kick from Keith Earls, because Ireland were going wide, and were kind of behind the gain line, but a really nice kick.
Yeah, it's good endeavour. I was kind of wondering just before, as England were going to kick that ball off, we had the extra man advantage. Were they going to actually try and run from inside our half? And it was good to see them with that ambition. Jamie didn't pass the ball in that lead up, and it gave Jonathan Joseph time to get from the far side of the pitch back around, and that kind of killed the move there.
What about this break from McCluskey? And on his debut, 3 players brand new to Test rugby here in Ireland squad today. He's one of them, the centre, flanker Josh Van der Fleer, who's on, and the replacement, Ultan Delan, who waits in the wings on the bench, but England had stolen it.
Yeah, great work from George Cruz again, got up. It's a few turnovers now at Ireland's line-out that's kept England going.
Taken forward by Cole. Youngs. Again, it's Earls, herring towards this ball, and ricochets off him. I think one of the more obvious knock-ons this season. Youngs. England just
taking out the players.
Trying to get a few shots of their own away. Penalty against Devon Toner for taking a player out off the ball, and they'll come back for that penalty as Vunipola loses it.
Yeah, I just think from an England point of view, having conceded the try, it's important they don't panic. 6-10 down on the scoreboard. They've got 4.5 minutes to run on the sin bin as referee Roman Poit's just going to consult with the touch judge.
Just a penalty, okay.
Yeah, just a penalty against Devon Toner.
Number 5 taking out the players without the ball, just a penalty against him.
Have a look at the retaliation. He made a mistake, but somebody no arms him straight in the back. That's foul play.
Okay, we will have a look.
That's the voice of Rory Best in the background there, having a word with Roman Poit. It's not going to affect the decision to give the penalty to England. Joe Marler running repairs. England have Mako Vunipola amongst those on the bench. Shake of the head from Toner.
This will kind of just be what England need, really, an opportunity to bring it within a point, just run a little bit of time down, get themselves back up to 15 men.
He's looking.
Set it on its way, and he likes the look of it. Only Johnny Wilkinson and Paul Grayson have scored more 5 Six Nations points for England now than that man. 3 more to him, 3 more to England. They're back to within a point.
I mean, in the context of the game, that's going to be a very, very important kick. When you score, when you have a man off the pitch, it's very, very, very telling in the shake-up of things.
3 minutes still to be played on James Haskell's yellow card. Trimble herring after this one. Taken by Itoje. Carney under pressure, wins it. Try scorer Murray. McGrath under some pressure, finding Sexton, who finds some space. Ball to the floor by Cruz.
Ball out.
Once more it's McCluskey. And again Carney. 58th start at fullback for him today. 1 short of Gervin Dempsey's record now. Murray and Stander. Again, just clocking on a little bit more often. Ireland ball in hand now. Sexton, Best, Carney, little slip that slowed him up, but going eventually. Sexton again, Earls, and Henshaw came in to offer some support. Hit from Itoje on Mike Ross.
No
Dan Cole
hands!
thinks that ball might be his, but he's told to give it up. Ryan. Ireland exploring England's 22. Much more fluidity than they did in the first. But England's work at the breakdown and the roar of approval from Owen Farrell. This time it's time for them to defend like their lives depend on it.
Yeah, it's just getting a bit tasty, isn't it? You know, England's line speed really good. Gordon again, it just felt Ireland just outside of Johnny Sexton, just continually just getting caught behind the gain line. And credit to England's defence.
Absolutely. England not committing, not having to commit a huge amount to the breakdown is definitely playing into this.
Listen to this.
One thing. The ruck, going through, holding, past the ruck.
Okay,
we go deep, clean.
Okay.
Past the ruck, the holding people.
Yeah, we pay.
Well, no holding.
From till now, no. But we will pay attention. If you give me a warning about that, I will pay attention. Yeah.
If Dylan Hartley saw Rory Best just offering the referee a little bit of advice a few minutes ago and decides that it's time for him to
let's go Green,
send him an email as well.
Let's go White.
Yeah, he's just talking
White.
about holding players, going beyond the ruck and holding on to some of those England players. And you know, referees don't mind you having a chat with them at that point in the game when it's a break, and they're okay with that.
Knock on the ground.
It's good from both captains, really.
Talked about the breakdown work that Ireland have done training this week. England have had the great Australian George Smith in camp at Pennyhill Park again this week, working just with the back rowers and just specifically about body positions, how you target the bloke on the floor to make sure that you win the ball back when you wouldn't necessarily be. Yeah,
it's about getting your body height right as you approach the ruck, and that's something that George Smith knows all about. Your angles that you go in at, when to compete, how many men to keep off your feet, how many men to keep on your feet, and that's something that he's been absolutely brilliant at, along with Paul Gustard.
Bind. Set.
Steve Benson amongst the faces in the crowd, sitting behind the Chelsea pensioner today. Here's Vunipola. It's not been safe to be anywhere near him over the first 54-55 minutes. Joseph to Brown, running into Murray, Ireland's try scorer. Time almost up on James Haskell's yellow.
Made in Ireland and delivered to England. Choke tackle, fantastic work from Conor Murray, brave as well, because
we got
to get your body heights right. Got to get your body heights right. If you take the ball into contact and you get the player the wrong side, as Conor Murray did there, the referee called them all early and they knew they just collapsed it down on the floor. Turnover.
Green, please. Ball from White. Scrum Green.
Good work, isn't it, Gordon, from Conor Murray? Just slips around the far side. Well entitled to do that.
Absolutely. I think you see Big Stuart McCluskey coming in there, and he just wraps them up. And once you've got them in that upright position, and he calls that maul, you know all you have to do is collapse it and hang in there.
Bind. Set.
Hint of a shove from Dan Cole, but John McGrath doing well to hold things up for Ireland, and now the backs can give it a whirl with Trimble. Tony Bowe, Luke Fitzgerald, Dave Carney, all injured, but Trimble's still there. And it's Ireland's turn to press, or at least it was. Took his eye off the ball. Just evades his grasp.
Just wondered there, Johnny just got hit later in the couple of phases before that, and he just got up a little bit gingerly, and I just wonder whether that had an impact on him taking his eye off the ball for a split second there.
Yeah, I don't think that was actually the move they were supposed to be going through. I don't think it's not very, I suppose, the game plan that we're used to, just Devon just running randomly off a... Yeah, he's doing one job before the ball's in his hand. You can see his head's up. He was looking top right for a corner.
Wind up,
That's the hit I was talking about from Ben Youngs. It was a good hit. I think he was committed to it. No doubt it being a late or anything like that.
News from replacement row. England are preparing to make changes. Amongst them, Danny Kerr, who's going to take place of Ben Youngs at scrum half, and Mako Vunipola, the loose head prop. Take over from Joe Marler fairly shortly.
I just think Kerr just brings tempo, doesn't he? He brings an increase in tempo, and that's exactly what Eddie Jones wants him for. And Mako Vunipola, that impact along with his brother.
Brown off an England scrum that was advancing. Tackled by Murray.
No right form.
Youngs. This is Ford. And this is Farrell. And Noel's got some space. He's got Earls in hot pursuit. England have got 1, 2, 3 white shirts there quickly, and Sexton and Henshaw tried to hold this up, but there it is for Cruz.
Leave it.
Ireland managing to disrupt things. Vunipola. Clear out from Farrell. Atoje amongst those waiting to the right. England go the other way to Cole. Tired lungs, tired muscles. England trying to test them. Ball lost forward. England will score. Watson. the hour work. Finally, ball in hand, ball in Ireland's 22, leads to the try.
I think Lawrence's point earlier on, you cannot take that amount of pressure for that length of time without it creaking at some stage. I think that had a very similar feel to the almost Dylan Hartley try in the first half, except they had to try the result of this game.
Yeah, it just kind of came a couple of snipes that Ben Young's made. It's most dangerous when he's picking the ball up and running across the defenders and just created the extra hole for England. Noel did brilliantly on this right-hand touchline to stay on his feet, recycle the ball eventually, and it was just a numbers game. England going 2 or 3 phases later, and Watson gets over.
Day after his 22nd birthday. He's become a regular starter since his debut 16 months ago, which he stitched into that shirt these days.
In the build-up to the try and the break, we got Noel's getting that run up the touchline. Owen Farrell's pass was on the money, out in front. Knowles didn't have to break stride, and he made that 30-40 yards up the touchline, which it's hard to recover from that kind of a line break.
Not only adding the conversion, Ireland about to bring on a couple of new props as Eddie Jones England move back ahead. So here are the changes: Cian Healy and Nathan White on for Jack McGrath and Mike Ross. Cian Healy good to go again. Missed the opening couple of weekends with a knee problem, but he's back with us. And Nathan White, 34-year-old, who played the opening fortnight. And there's the change that we signalled before the try. Danny Kerr shook things up off the bench 2 weeks ago in Rome. On to do likewise now, and Mako Vunipola, whose brother's been outstanding so far, on for Joe Marler in England's front row. Restart gathered in by the try scorer. Two brothers in close proximity. James Haskell was with them as well. First job for the new scrum half, Danny Kerr, is to clear it long up to halfway. Carney. Van der Fleer. So he's helping sure the ball remained a green one. Much room for Stander to run into.
You stay green, please, there.
Sexton. It's a ball to compete for. Brown was up. Trimble was there. Ball was lost forward by Trimble.
12 green.
Green was McCloskey as well. And that's what
offside,
we'll come back
7.
Actually come back for an offside, Josh Van der Fleer.
Offside at ruck.
Yeah, offside at the ruck.
Kicking the ball.
No option
7.
really for Johnny Sexton other than to kick, because England again catching Ireland behind the gain line. Really been impressed with their line speed.
That's Van der Fleer. Sean O'Brien's hamstring means that he's out for the tournament. The number of injuries, not just the loss of key players like Paul O'Connell to retirement, but the players that Ireland have lost over the last couple of weeks, just ridiculous.
Yeah, I think the quality of those players are, you know, has to be mentioned as well. We don't have very many Sean O'Briens in Ireland. He would probably get into most international teams in the world. To lose him, you lose the impact that, say, Billy Vunipola is having on this game, the 20-plus carry or 15 carries that he's had in the game so far.
Thanks to Peter O'Mahony as well, players who can do that job. England just trying to turn the screw a little bit here. Once again, it's Vunipola.
Again, great work from Cruz in the line out. Vunipola, the centre of everything.
There's his brother Mako. Been invited to play like a Tongan when he had his first meeting with Eddie Jones. Traced the roots of his family tree back there. Ford creating some space again for Billy. Kerr, Watson, 5 metres short. These are bright moments for England, moments to dig in for Ireland. Ford, Knowles waiting for it, calling for it, Brown has it, he'll score. England have 2 in almost as many minutes.
Thanks.
pressure, but the architect of that move is Billy Vunipola. Again, they just cannot deal with him, Ireland. He started to move at the back of the line out with a driving wall. He was there again to carry the ball over the gain line, suck in the defenders. This player is having another one of those outstanding games. Look at this, Cruz. Starts there with Vunipola. He just wants the ball. He just wants to get his hands on the ball as much as possible, and after that, Ireland were always against it. Simple hands from England. For the first time, they've got a commanding lead in this match.
Oh, it's been a potentially pivotal 5 minutes. England looking to up their game, and at the moment, Ireland not responding.
I think George Ford had a very, very good shift of play. Came behind the ruck, went down the left-hand touch line, got Billy Vunipola up the left-hand touch, and he made serious inroads there. That's where the damage was done. That was the, you know, you bleed through you bleed up the touch line there, 10, 15, 20 yards that close to your line. It's very, very hard. And the Irish defence honey-potted into that ruck, and it was just a numbers game there.
And he's drawn that in beautifully. England all of a sudden having been behind, lead by 11.
We would talk, the guys at half-time in the studio talked about being patient, and they would have sat in that changing room at half-time. They would have been frustrated because they lacked accuracy in their execution, but they have been patient. Ireland cannot continue to make the number of tackles they've made, 128.
I see you going. England team under foreign management at Twickenham for the first time ever. Eddie Jones, 3 times here as Australia's coach. He lost 2 and won 1. This time he's in charge of the blokes in white.
Just giving us
Elliot Daly, who has had his supporters in recent months. Looks like he's about to come on to play for his country for the first time, and his new boss wants to make absolutely sure that the instructions are there.
Yeah, I think he's probably just giving him something that he's seen from the touchline about where he feels the space is and not getting too narrow, etc. What a player to have on. He's been probably the form back, certainly one of the form backs in the Premiership all season.
And he has pace. There is no substitute for pace. Once that's gone, you're gone, and he has plenty of it. He has plenty of it. He's a young, hungry guy as well.
High hanging ball was taken by Simon Zebo, who's joined us. Fit to involve himself again after missing Paris. Trimble. He's there. Carney. Sexton.
Just 5 phases, 6 phases, and just still a long way behind where they started, Ireland.
Here goes Zebo. Earls. Sexton linking up with Nathan White, and Sexton's on his way. And McCluskey's charging to the line, and Ireland responding immediately, and I think he's lost it. Oh. Henshaw so close.
First question, because I'm not sure for the line out on the grounding.
Okay.
But in the end, has the tackle from Noel done just enough?
By the way, first question, is it a try, yes or no? First grounding,
okay.
and then
checking touch as well.
Touch as well,
okay.
but first and grounding.
Okay.
Well.
And grounding, 2.
Just checking try, no try. And then what happens after that is it touch. It's Jack Noel that comes across. We'll see it now. Does he get it down? He loses it forward.
Yeah, I think the reaction of Henshaw immediately, Gordon, suggested that he knew he didn't have control of this ball.
What a moment that is in this game as well. It's a wonderful break by Sexton.
I think his knee would have unfortunately been in across the white line as well. There was memories of Shane Horgan coming there. The stretch, the big hand out. Unfortunately, just like a great bit of play.
Sean.
Yes, please, Sean.
The play was in touch.
The ball was in touch?
In touch first.
In touch first?
Yeah.
Okay, line out at 5 meters line?
That's right.
Okay. No try. Line out. Go.
15 minutes the shake of the head from Robbie Henshaw. And
yeah, he's coming. And green. Green 4.
Try-saving tackle of real significance. Elliot Daly, best centre in the Aviva Premiership this season.
Please, come.
Now gets a chance to show what he can do as a Test match player.
Well, it's a special moment for any player to make his international debut. To be able to do it here at Twickenham, got a real opportunity, 15 or so minutes, but what a tackle from Jack Noel. We've got to give him enormous credit for chasing across, corner flagging. Could be a big moment in this game.
Debut for Ireland's Altan Dillane as well, the Connacht forward.
Let's go for a run.
So both Daly and Dillane having a taste of Test match rugby for the first time, and Carney charges forward.
And by the looks of things, he's slotting in at 12, so that's a straight life-for-life swap with Owen Farrell.
Penalty advantage for Ireland. I think Hartley penalised at the breakdown there.
Mako getting
2 off your feet, elbow on the ground.
Back for the earlier penalty.
Now, 66 minutes. Gordon, you pop it in the corner to get 3 points. Probably 11-point difference. I think goes in the corner, no?
No. Green 6.
Yeah, I think they're going for the corner, but the decision is made. You know, the day it's harder to make your scores, even with the 10-point swing. We need 2 tries now.
Rhys Ruddock on for CJ Stander. New man Dillane under the green cap. First French-born Ireland international. Instead, it's to Heasley.
Good shove on here from Ireland. They got this under control.
Ruddock had it initially. He might still have it. Now it's been smuggled back to Heasley. Well, this is looking very useful. Heasley still has it. Mako Vunipola doing his best to try and disrupt things. It's another Ireland penalty.
Again, I think it's Chris Robshaw that just slides in round the corner offside. He tried to conceal himself as much as possible.
6 offside, 6.
I'm not sure he had much choice when it was going forward like that.
6 offside.
So dink in the corner again, and it'd be a 5-metre line out.
Be careful.
It'd be speaking to the referee, speaking to Chris Robshaw.
Fresh legs from Ireland really have
Dylan,
to
be careful about small. No,
make inroads here. You've got Cian Healy on, Altan Dillane is on. Really impressed with this guy. When he's been playing for Connacht, a real athlete.
He's been outstanding this season. Taken by Ruddock, but England have stolen it. And Vunipola hands it to Ford, who launches it long downfield immediately. It's a ball gathered by Trimble. Held up by Robshaw.
Again, what a crucial turnover that might prove to be. Pressure was really building on England then.
Stay there. Backward.
Ball went backwards. Into the arms of Kerr.
Stay wide.
This is Zebo, who's got a lot of Twickenham lawn to run into if he wants to. He takes that opportunity. Dillane, who, as Gordon says, is such an athlete, ferocious tackler as well when he gets going. Here's Heasley. Watson went hunting the intercept. Approaching the final 10 minutes. Van der Fleer away quickly to Zebo. Dillane. Once more, it's Henshaw. So close, fingertips away from the try that would have brought Ireland back into this. Heasley, Trimble, working hard to stay up with it. These are hard times for players who've been on from the off, like Trimble, like Toner. Test of fitness now.
I think England are quite happy to play in this middle part of the field. It's going to be very hard to concede a try from here. Ireland have not really made a huge amount of ground in this phase of play. They're actually back to where they started again.
Delan. Running into Hartley, ricocheting off Hartley and still back on his feet. Sexton, Earls, head down into the midriff of England's fly half forward. Roddick, Van der Fleer, his wingman. Sexton again, there's Henshaw.
Up to the 12th phase now, certainly building.
Delan, oh, it's broken through! And Van der Fleer and the new boys combining wonderfully. And Delan, what a moment this would be for him! Wonderful stuff from Delan, and then Van der Fleer, and then Delan again. And Haskell picks up the ball, and England concede the penalty, but once again, how close Ireland.
Well, it's a great break from Delan, but I was quite surprised that I'm not sure who gave that penalty away. Rory Best is having a word saying if that's James Haskell, you've got to look at that again, because that was stopping a try-scoring opportunity. But what a break from Ireland. Let's have a look at this. Just goes through the two front row forwards, doesn't he? Picks out Cole and Hartley's fresh legs off the field.
A couple of things in that play. Attacking between two players, that's always really, really hard. Who's actually making that tackle? Whose tackle is it? Attacking that space, makes a good decision, puts Van der Fleer in, but stays alive, gets the ball back, and is a red scrum cap in there killing the ball. You got to ask that question at least.
Been very well taught.
England have made a change in the back row, but it's not Haskell coming off, it's Rob Shaw for Jack Clifford, Harlequin's teammate, just Clifford's third cap, his first here at Twickenham.
8 white, captain.
That's Clifford. Both sides
time off, we check.
Have changed their captains.
Okay.
Because
please
Dylan
check
Hartley and Rory Best have gone as well.
White players kick the ball on the ground if it was on number 9 green, please.
Okay.
Potential for play.
A bit of work for Sean Veldsman. A hint of foul play that might have led to that cut above the left eye of Conor Murray.
Yeah, just checking that and trying to sort of kick the ball through the ruck. Did they kick the 9? If they did, then I'd certainly hope it wouldn't be deliberate. They're just trying to play the ball. I mean, that's accidental, isn't it? I mean, that's accidental. It's nasty for Conor Murray. They've actually kicked it forward, not kicked it back.
I think it might be the second or third kick, unfortunately, that they're having a look at. This is definitely accidental.
Yeah, it's not very nice though, is it, to get that, which is why
unfortunately you have to be responsible where you're putting your foot.
Yeah, it's not the one that comes back. It's this one here, I think, that's coming up.
It's Mike Brown's boot that goes in.
Yeah, it's not that. It's this one that comes in now. There.
Roman, those are the best angles. Roman?
Yes. What's your recommendation?
My recommendation is that you continue with the penalty, and that was accidental by White.
Okay.
It was not deliberate.
Okay. Just accidental, but that's cynical. You not rule away at 5 meters. Please check if it's 21 on the ground, not ruling away.
It's not foul
not
play.
About the kicking,
we understand that.
No, but I don't think it's him.
Check the number of the players not ruling away close to the goal line when I penalized him. I think it was 21.
Is he thinking of a yellow card here?
Yes, he is, I think. He's looking at the player who's not rolling away, which wasn't James Haskell. It wasn't Mike Brown. I think it's Danny Kerr, maybe.
Just wait to remind this. They're going to put it up now. There it comes. There it comes, Roman.
It's Danny Kerr who's left in there.
Please, 21. 21. Let's go. Cynical infringement, not ruling away.
Yeah, it's Danny Kerr.
Cynical infringement.
Yellow card, and he's not been on long, but that's his match done as we enter the final 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's a shame. I mean, you have to say it is the right decision from the referee. You know, when you do make a line break, so many times we don't see referees brave enough to go to the card when they should do, and he's not messed about there. We got there in the end.
Yeah, and some real positive involvements from Danny Kerr. You know, coincidental maybe, but he was here when the tempo picked up when England got their 2 tries. But now we're a lot of space to defend for England without a 9.
Big moment here.
Bind. Set.
Owen Redden, who's on for Conor Murray. England, in the absence now of Dylan Hartley, are captained by the number 8, Billy Vunipola.
Well, he was given the vice-captaincy along with a couple of other players, and he's played like a leader today. He's led from the front, so it's fitting that he has the captain's armband for the last few minutes or so.
And both number 8s have taken responsibility from the 2 number 2s, because Jamie Heaslip's in charge for Ireland.
Bind.
Are England got like they were for the Haskell yellow card to be made to pay for this one for care? Over 7 minutes to go.
Okay.
It's a tough defence here, as you say, with no 9. I think that George Ford is going to position himself directly behind the scrum, because he can't afford to go one way or the other yet, because Ireland have obviously got both options available to them, Gordon.
I think the right-hand side of the scrum, for me anyway, is looking the better of 2 options. There's a lot more space in there. We've got broken field runners. We've got to give them a one-on-one and see what they can do.
Set.
Yeah.
Trimble waits hopefully on the far right-hand side. He's got Earls that side as well, and Carney. That's the way they go. Taken on once more by Henshaw. Delan. Trimble still trying to stretch things as much as he can. This is White.
Desperate tackling.
Van der Fleer looks like he's managed to creep over. Or has he been held up by Elliot Daly?
Well, we'll soon find out. Elliot Daly and George Cruz. Van der Fleer came round the corner with huge pace.
First question, Sean, is it a try, yes or no?
Try yes or no?
I think that's something you'll relate well to Lawrence, that ability to come around the ruck, square up and accelerate onto the ball, accelerating into contact.
Let's have a look at this. Does he get it down? Oh, can't see from that angle, can we? Looks like he does, but we just can't see yet. Maybe this one will show us.
Surely got it down there.
I think he's got it down as well.
I think he has, yeah.
For all the best efforts of Elliot Daly, just on.
You can't stop a player when it's like that. It's coming round the corner, accelerating. It's very, very hard for a centre.
As the offside line is actually behind the ruck, so you actually can't come off the line until he's already in full flight.
The question's an interesting one, because they've got to see an angle where we do have the ball on the floor. Is that might be the best? It's not. Is there a reason I can't award the try? It's a try, yes or no. So we do need evidence.
It looks like he gets there, but doesn't get it there.
Yes.
There's no clear evidence that the ball was grounded.
And when I call you, the ball was held up. Then scrum attacking team, okay?
Yes.
See, I think in the old days, when you guys were playing, that would have been a try. In the days before the TMO, you'd have given the attacker the benefit of the doubt. He surely must have got that then.
Yeah.
I think so, and I think just because an arm blocks the view of a camera into
it held up when I checked.
I think everybody's good was that was a try.
The first question for the grounding, not clear and obvious.
Green.
But it was almost
paralysis by over-analysis.
Yeah, the way he asked the question, Roman Poit, as well, didn't he? And there's no obvious way that we can see the try. And that's, again, we've had a few big moments in this last 20 minutes.
Ireland had a couple of big moments in that right-hand side.
Set.
Noel on Henshaw. England penalty. And increasingly you're starting to think this might be England's match. The roar amongst the forwards and then the backs who join them will suggest as much.
Well, Dan Cole's worked hard all day, all game. He was the one that probably felt with the missed tackle of Delan that he was the one that needed to make amends, and he certainly did for his team there. Could see the early shove that came on. And he's won his side a crucial penalty. The try not being awarded, the scrum.
And England clear long.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, collapsing.
It's coming up on about 5 minutes. Ireland have been in the 22, almost getting a try, but really they've come away now with nothing, and that's in the context of the game, where it is, that's hurt us.
By the way, another fallow weekend in the Six Nations next weekend, back in a fortnight. Ireland against Italy, England against Wales at the Aviva Stadium in Dublin, and back here at Twickenham. I hope you can join us for that. The way things are shaping up, England will be going into that match with Wales, like Wales, unbeaten. But Ireland are still giving it a crack with Ruddock.
Yeah, England uncharacteristically lost their line out there, invited more pressure from Ireland.
There's Henshaw.
No, 8!
Owen Redden. 43rd time he's been whistled off the bench. Only the All Blacks, Kevin Mialamu and Piriwibu can beat that. Sexton. Carney. Forced back by Ford and Co. Mako Vunipola was there as well, but Ireland drive back over it. Delan, smartly done. Ruddock, the link to Earls, and then Heaslip. And now Henshaw.
It's a fantastic example of basic skills, a premium on that.
And then the work on the floor of Jack Clifford.
We're just saying, we look like Ireland had just orchestrated a bit of space on that right-hand touchline, but Clifford closes the door, did what Ireland were doing to England in that first half. Let's just have a look at this again. He's tracking back really nicely. Straight in over the ball.
If you want a textbook how to attack the breakdown, that's it. Tracking the man, hands on his shirt, brings him down, gets the clear hands release and claims the ball.
Time off, 7
He's been
wide.
learning off the likes of Nick Easter and Chris Robshaw, and George Smith coming into camp this week just adds to that education. England change. Courtney Laws on for James Haskell.
Okay, we play.
Lawrence, you're charged today with thinking about the man of the match. Assume it won't be Ben Youngs, who got it in Rome a couple of weeks ago, much to the surprise of most people, including him. But there might be more obvious candidates this time around.
There are. I think England have weathered the storm from Ireland. There's been some outstanding performances across the pack. Maro Itoje's had his moments for sure, but I think hopefully everyone will agree that the outstanding player on the pitch has been Billy Vunipola. He's carried. He's been a colossus for England. 18 carries. That's a huge amount of work rate for nearly 100 metres.
No,
Busted
17!
the game line.
Not even on just the volume of them, it's the quality of them. You can have stats and you can have 20, 25, 30 carries and have no real end result at the end of it. His involvements, the quality of his involvements in this game has been really, really special.
Yeah, and they've resulted in England scoring the tries they've
Let's go
scored.
wide, please.
Third Six Nations in charge for Joe Schmidt. First time he'd have lost back-to-back games during that period. Lost to France in Paris and losing to England now here at Twickenham.
Thank you.
There he is. Many will quibble that decision.
Gordon says his work rate, his appetite, his enthusiasm, but it's his involvements in the game and what they've actually delivered for his team in the tries. Billy Vunipola, quite rightly, is our RBS man of the match.
Maro Itoje on his first start. The 21-year-old is going to play a full 80 minutes. First concerted look at him at what everyone assumes will be a long and bright future. Ford. Here goes Joseph. And the debutant today, Elliot Daly, helps out.
No!
Jamie George. Joseph. Taken on by Courtney Laws.
Just a little knock on there. Fortunately lost forward as the clock winds down.
Over a minute to go here, it looks like the hopes of a third championship in a row, Gordon, are ending here, but an Ireland assessment of what we've seen today.
I think it's the same story for the third game in a row. We're trying, but the end result just isn't there. And I think the point we've been making all the way through the game is we can't take that amount of attrition and expect to be fresh in the final 20 minutes. I think Brian alluded in the studio about the strength of the benches and the difference in that. You know, we don't have the playing population that other teams have, and to have the amount of injuries that we've had, it's a bit of a perfect storm for us. But sometimes you have to go back to go forward, and I think there is still green sprouts from these performances.
Yeah, and I think just on the flip side of that, England will be frustrated with their performance in the first half. They were, you know, they lacked the accuracy required to make the most of the possession of territory, but they weathered the storm. James Haskell got sin bin, thought they coped with that pretty well, and they scored at the absolutely crucial time.
I think that's very relevant for England, the ability to get the momentum back in their favour. Things were going against them, 2 yellow cards, conceding a try, anything could have happened, but they stayed their course and got well and truly back into the game.
It's been much more even second half as a contest. Ireland scoring the first try through Conor Murray. But there was that period around the hour mark when Anthony Watson and then Mike Brown scored tries in quick succession for England. And from that point, there was no way back for Ireland. Keane Healy takes it to Gown. Keith Earls, who has been perpetual motion all match. Madigan for Sexton. Toner flicks it back to Madigan. There's Heaslip, being fed by Trimble. And home games against Italy and Scotland in Dublin to come.
Get it! Go get it! Go get it!
And Wales in a fortnight, Paris in 3 weeks.
Advantage.
Healy, stolen by Cruz. Cole, and here goes Dahlia's. England hair off in search of what would have been a third try, but isn't. They'll satisfy themselves with just the 2. Ireland's hopes of a hat-trick of titles evaporating on a chilly night in southwest London. England, 3 wins from 3. 3/5 of the way to a Grand Slam. Wales here next, though. We will hear from Johnny and from Clive and from Brian, who will offer some analysis after the break and wrap up the interviews as well. Final score, England 21, Ireland 10.